So today, we're going to be looking at Daredevil, his new Tier 3 advancement, and his new uniform. Yeah, I'm going to be basically showcasing the build that I have on Daredevil right now, and I'm going to be kind of getting my first impressions of the character in, giving my thoughts on what I think, or how good I think this new improvement for Daredevil is. So, this is the first upgrade he's gotten in a long time, and Daredevil is one of my favorite characters, so I am super hyped for this showcase. Yeah, so the build isn't necessarily complete yet because I kind of have plans for how or for where I want to take my account and my characters in the future. I'll get into that maybe in a later video. But yeah, this is what we're going to be working with right now. Yeah, the crit rate is slightly suboptimal. Crit damage, yeah, everything's slightly suboptimal. But I think it's enough that we could possibly see how good the character is overall. So yeah, we see that he has his new Defender's passive or no ability over here, which gives 10% all defense. It's pretty cool that they're reinforcing this tribe thing in the game. He's got the leadership passive also, and heightened senses. So yeah, no Uru. Well, I said no Uru, and I immediately showed that I do have Uru, but it's just physical attack. Uru here, I put these in a long time ago because these are, again, he is one of my favorite characters, and I did just wanna be ready for that day that he eventually got his shiny new upgrade, and that day is here. So yeah, here we are. His skills, the important ones, are leveled up, of course, and I'll get into the skills when we get into the showcase of his performance in World Boss. His type enhancement is rank 5. I'm trying to get it to rank 6. Mostly for the rank. Like you see my rank there. Ooh, I'm 752, which is high-ish for me. But yeah, we're working with a stage 9 Power of Angry Hulk, and we're working with this Guard Break immunity crit damage 120 proc obelisk, and I'm working on getting his uniform mythic. So it's nothing amazing. It's a quite standard build for him, apart from the Uru maybe. The Uru slots amplified, but yeah. Right now I have 2 uniforms unlocked, and I'm working on getting it to mythic because I do have Superior Octopus also. So, given that this is the case, I'm going to be taking Daredevil into some content, both PvE and PvP, in order to see how he fares. So we're going to be taking Daredevil up against Corvus Glaive, stage 99. It's a very, very high stage. I mean, the highest we can go for now in the current World Boss normal state, We're rocking a White Fox Phil Coulson team combo. I'm using White Fox's leadership to try to amplify Daredevil's all defense down, which he just got with his new uniform. Now, speaking of his new uniform, we're going to go into the skills that he has to see the reasoning for the rotation that I have and to see what makes him good. So the biggest change to his kit, I would say, is his third skill, which is a counter-attack skill similar to Silver Surfer. It ignores iframes, it has paralysis, it has penetration, immunity to damage, accumulation, increase damage by a certain percent. Yeah, it's quite a chunky skill, and this is the thing I think that gives Daredevil his biggest power bump, given the accumulation. Notably, his 4th skill and 5th skill also have all defense down that stacks up to 60%. Now, this contributes a lot to the damage that he does as well, but it doesn't affect more recent PvE content such as Null and now Mephisto, since they do not get affected by all defense down. That being said, though, his 4th skill has the 60% all defense down alongside a chunky attack defense buff with a crit rate buff as well, which makes it slightly easier to build Daredevil in that sense. His 5th skill only really has the all defense down, and I find that his 5th skill is very, very difficult to use. It has an iframe at the beginning of the skill, but then toward the end he goes out of his iframe, which leaves him very vulnerable, and yeah, it goes on for so long, so it just really leaves him open to being attacked. Whereas his 4th skill actually has some protection in terms of invincibility, which is great against Null. Invincibility is so good when you're constantly being knocked back because the knockback effects don't really take effect. So yeah, I don't know. Daredevil's kit is a little bit confusing to me. especially when you factor in the tier 3 skill as well, which it looks nice. It has a 100% all defense down. No, I wish, but it has 100% ignore dodge, which is great for Corvus. But the thing about this is that there's a really long windup for the tier 3 skill, as you'll see here right now. Like, you can basically cancel it by the time Daredevil approaches the opponent, because all of the hits will still come in. But there's a really long windup, so you want to do it as soon as you go off of the proc of the skill you're procking on. So let's say I proc on 4, which is what I would advise generally, but I'm still not sure because this rotation is kind of weird. But let's say you proc on 4. When after you finish the 4th skill, you want to go into the tier 3 skill immediately so that he has time to go approach the enemy before your proc comes around next. So yeah, the rotation I follow is basically 3 cancel 4, land the proc on 4, and then go into 5 or something. And then once you have the tier 3 skill up, after immediately procking on 4, you go into the tier 3 skill, cancel it when Daredevil approaches the opponent, and then 3 cancel 4 again. So you get the proc on 4 and on tier 3 skill. So that's what I would advise generally, but I'm not sure also. It's also really difficult because for example, his cooldowns are quite difficult to work with. His 5th skill has a 19-second cooldown, and the 5th skill isn't even that great, I would say. The 4th and 3rd skill, they're on more reasonable and manageable cooldowns, but they don't fit the 7-second proc window that all characters have. Now, I think I've been a little hard on Daredevil based on what I've been saying so far, but I will say that his kit is not all bad. Okay, there's some great aspects to it, such as the dodge healing mechanic. I think it actually adds a lot to his survivability, though it is a little RNG based, given that dodge relies on a percentage. But Daredevil can really go from very low health all the way back up to full with just a couple of dodges, especially if you build up his dodge. It's not very reliable, but it's actually kind of cool and a little bit thematic with the character. And yeah, I die here, so sorry, you're not getting a full 9th stage 99 clear. But come on, you can do it basically, right? Like, you're just a little unlucky here, but you basically know that Daredevil can clear it. But that being said, though, Daredevil being good enough to clear stage 99 Corvus is a huge buff, which is great, and he definitely feels so much stronger because, like, come on, he was just so weak back then. But this kind of begs the question, is it enough? Which is why I'm gonna take him up against some world boss Null to try to see how he fares in the newer content that we have. So I'm gonna keep this Null portion of the video rather short because I've been running Daredevil against Null for a while now at this point, so I'm just gonna say it straight up. I don't think Daredevil is very good for Null, as you'll see in the run that I've recorded here. His damage just isn't great, and I know that my build is not the best either, but I feel like I expected a little more from a character that is slightly built a little subpar. You know, in other tests that I've done, I feel like other characters have gotten further against Null. That's not to say Daredevil is awful. I don't think he's bad by any stretch of the imagination, but it's just that there's already such a limited amount of characters who can reliably clear decent Null stages, and the fact that Daredevil is struggling at stage 1 here, I don't know, it doesn't really bode well for how strong he is, which makes me feel like PvE content is not what he was built for. Which is why after this I'm going to be showing a little bit of timeline battle gameplay just to entertain the idea that perhaps Daredevil was built for PvP. But yeah, we can see here that he's definitely not going to be able to clear this Null stage despite having a lead that supports him and an actual support that does support him as well. So yeah, a little disappointing in the PvE side of things, but I'm pretty happy. I'm happy enough with the fact that he can clear stage 99 of Corvus. Now, it's just that I don't regularly fight Corvus anymore. That's just a thing. But yeah. So yeah, we're gonna check out some PvE content right after this just to see how well he does there, and hopefully he does better than in PvE content. One thing that I should note about Daredevil before showcasing any PvP content is the fact that he has penetration chance, quote unquote, on his new uniform. Now, I don't see it anywhere in his uniform effects. I don't see it in any of his skills, passives, blah blah blah. But you can clearly see it right here. I'm just letting my Daredevil take a few hits against this Scarlet Spider. You can see there's a red bar that builds up, and when it gets to full, you can see there's a little penetration chance failed that just shows there. I assume that, of course, when it succeeds, it'll say penetration chance success, right? So this type of effect is one that is seen in like forged CTPs. I think specifically the CTP of regeneration. I don't know exactly because I don't have any forged CTPs. I don't have anything on my cards that will affect this. I don't even know if there's anything on the cards that can affect this. So I'm 100% sure that this is built into the Daredevil uniform. None of my other characters do this. None of my other characters have this. And yeah, it's just something interesting to note and lends more credibility to the idea that I think Daredevil's upgrade, his new uniform and Tier 3 was kind of built for PvP content, which is interesting. I'm just curious if this was on purpose, because again, there's basically no mention of this anywhere else, unless I'm mistaken. Do let me know, please, if I'm just missing something fairly obvious. But I was looking around and I didn't see anything, and I thought that it was just important to kind of mention this, just so that everyone has the full picture of what Daredevil is rocking before taking him into some actual PvP gameplay. So that being said, let's get into looking at Daredevil's performance in PvP. And I will say that while I do acknowledge also that my build, again, is not very complete, I think Daredevil has some pretty good potential for timeline battle PvP content, with one big caveat, of course, and that being Sentry. I feel like Sentry just counters Daredevil too hard. In the trials that I ran, I wasn't able to beat any Sentry, I believe. I mean, I've gotten a kill on him. Like, I've managed to get his health to 0, but the thing is, with Sentry, you have to be able to do it twice. And yeah, that's the annoying thing. You'll notice, I think, with every other character that I face here in this run that's not Sentry, I am able to defeat them. But I don't know. I think Sentry just like I said, counters Daredevil too hard. Daredevil relies on his iframes having a little bit of skill priority, a little bit of counterplay also, and being able to juke other characters' strong skills, having some protection with penetration and being able to dodge. But I feel like Sentry just has a number on all of those. He's able to ignore iframes. He's able to penetrate invincibility, all that. And yeah, you can see Daredevil really struggles against Sentry. And if he does, then I don't really know if he's going to be great for PvP content, given that Sentry is one of the top dogs in the game mode. I've seen people say that their Daredevil can take down Sentry, which, again, maybe it's true. Maybe my build is just so bad, and that's why I'm not able to beat him. But I don't know. I'm slightly concerned with what I'm seeing, and I think, I don't know, based on what I'm seeing, and I could be wrong by saying this, but I don't think Daredevil is going to consistently and reliably be able to beat Sentry, especially considering that he's a speed type character, and that, you know, he's gonna have lower base stats generally than other characters. I haven't actually checked how his base stats stack up, but yeah. And the penetration thing doesn't really help. It feels like the penetration chance that he has on the invisible penetration that he has, I mean, the one that protects him, it's very low % chance. I very rarely see it succeed. But But yeah, I don't know. You can see here, this is probably the longest battle. I came really close to taking down this full team. So yeah, he's able to do well against a Molecule Man over there. Silver Surfer, I was very surprised he was able to do quite well. The heal is quite massive, and assuming that a team doesn't run Ignore Dodge, it might be good. But the thing is, if you run Ignore Dodge, that basically takes out Daredevil's like that whole healing thing and basically nukes Daredevil's survivability in the game mode. But as you can see here, we try to put up a fight against Sentry, but spoiler alert, we're not able to bring the win home despite getting the tier 3 off. So yeah, Daredevil for PvP I think has potential, but if he's not going to be able to beat Sentry reliably, yeah, I don't think he's going to cut it. So closing thoughts from my first impressions of Daredevil, I'm not sure that he's going to be at the top of the meta for any type of content. I feel like if he were to be, it would be more leaning toward PvP than PvE, since it does feel like he was designed to succeed in PvP game modes. Now, I do acknowledge that he does have the potential to succeed in both game modes, and I realize also that maybe the disappointing performance that he's had in my tests is probably down to the fact that I didn't build him that well. But I don't know, I think I just expected more from him even with a substandard build. Now, as a Daredevil fan myself, I'm just pretty happy in general with the upgrade that he's got. It's definitely a very far cry from how bad he's been like for years, and so it's great to see that he's actually competing with a few heavy hitters right now. And I will be trying to see just how far I can push him in terms of PvE and PvP content. I'm gonna be completing my build on him in a few days, and maybe if my opinion on him changes, I'll make another video. But if it doesn't, then you know, it'll just mean that my first impressions of him were right, and that yeah, he is you know, not top of the meta, which I think is fine. It's okay, you know. I think he's pretty cool, and I'm gonna enjoy playing with him no matter what. So yeah, have you guys gotten to try Daredevil yet? Am I completely wrong in my assessment? Is he like broken, busted, top of the meta? I don't know. You tell me. I would love to hear if I'm wrong and what I need to do if I want him to be the world beater of Marvel Future Fight. So yeah, I hope this look at Daredevil has been interesting and maybe taught you a few things about his kit that you didn't know. I don't know. I didn't know about the penetration thing until I really had a long, hard look at it. So I don't know. That was interesting. So yeah, again, hope you were able to take something away from the video. And as always, thank you so much for watching.